The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today during our Let's Learn Live virtual summit. My name is Caitlin Oswald with Columbus, and today we have a special presentation for you on Dynamics GP, why and when should I upgrade? We started the call by muting everyone, so if you have any questions during today's presentation, there we go. We can use the question box feature located on the dashboard on the right-hand side of the screen. We will have some time for Q&A kind of at some certain points throughout our presentation today, and we will be covering all the questions that were submitted. Next slide. Just also a call out here just to remind you that we also have the slide deck for this presentation uploaded in our handout section on your dashboard. So if you would like to download the PDF version of the slides that Lori is using today, you can certainly do that and use it to take notes or follow along or just as a reference for later. And now I'm excited to introduce to you today our presenter, Lori Ritzer. Lori has been a project manager for Columbus for more than 15 years and has also worked exclusively with Microsoft Dynamics GP for over 5 years. Today she will be sharing with us the why and when of all things GP upgraded related, including types of upgrades, supported versions, and our upgrade process. So without further ado, Lori, I will hand it over to you.
Well, hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Caitlin, check, check.
Yes, you are all good.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to my session. And I guess Caitlin had kind of already introduced myself to you, so I won't bother repeating what she just said. But I have been exclusively working on GP upgrades for the last 5+ years. And project managing for over 15. So we'll just jump right into it. Why should I upgrade? Clients usually upgrade because there are new GP features they want to take advantage of. And there are many with each new GP version. For example, workflows, emailing capabilities, copy and paste journal entries, doc attach, just to name a few that clients seem to love. I don't claim to be the expert or remember what version all these features were released in. I leave that up to our talented functional consultants with their training sessions that are covered during an upgrade. Let's say you want to implement a new module, or you want to add a new ISV or third-party product. By upgrading, you will get feature-enriched modules and ISV products. Also, depending on which version of GP you are currently on, it could be more cost-effective to implement that module with perpetual licensing rather than the old modular-based licensing. What do I mean by that? Well, perpetual licensing, every client is entitled to the starter pack, which is the orange section at the top of my slide. It contains tons of modules and functionality that you would have had to pay for individually with the old modular-based licensing in GP of the past. Starting in GP 2013 is when they went to perpetual licensing. There's also an extended pack, which is the light blue section at the bottom of my slide. This contains higher level modules such as manufacturing and project accounting. And then there's also the customization pack, which is the dark blue section in the middle, which contains integration manager and advanced payroll features. Why else should you upgrade your Dynamics GP? Staying current means that your overall cost will be less, like no late fees on your software maintenance renewal. Also, performing an upgrade on a regular basis can result in fewer hops, bringing the service costs down as well. What do I mean by a hop? Well, Microsoft has an upgrade path we need to follow when upgrading databases. And this path, or hop, allows one version to be skipped when performing an upgrade. For example, Microsoft has versions 2015, then 2016, and now 2018. Skipping one version would mean we could go from 2015 directly to GP 2018, skipping GP 2016. This is considered one hop. Last of all, the support life cycle. This is a lifespan of products and when they will come to an end. It applies to more than just Dynamics GP, but also Microsoft SQL Server, Windows Server Operating System, and Microsoft Office. This is natural for any software product out there, not just Microsoft products or GP-related products. Here I have a slide deck of what the support life cycle really means. And there's a lot of verbiage here, but I'm going to kind of put it in a simplified nutshell, shall we say. So Microsoft has mainstream support and extended support. The mainstream support basically means Microsoft will no longer produce service packs, but they will still provide support for issues. This is important to note for our clients running year-end tasks such as payroll, 1099s, and also fixed asset depreciations, because year-end updates are also considered a service pack. Extended support means Microsoft stops providing all support. This leads to when you should upgrade. Well, obviously before the support lifecycle ends. Here's a slide that indicates the mainstream and extended support for Dynamics GP. As you can see, the end of GP 2015 mainstream support is April of 2020. And I have been working on a lot of upgrades lately in which clients are already making that move to GP 2018 R2 from their current GP 2015 software. Here's a slide that indicates the mainstream and extended support for Microsoft SQL Server. As you can see, the end of SQL 2014 mainstream support is July of this year. Here's a slide that indicates the mainstream and extended support for Windows Server Operating System. As you can see, the mainstream support for Windows Server 2012 was October of last year. This and the following slides show that what GP versions meet the requirements for SQL. As you see here, GP 2018 must use SQL Server 2014, 2016, and 2017. This slide shows what GP versions meet the requirements for Windows Server Operating System. And as you see here, GP must use Windows Server 2012, 2012 R2, or 2016. This slide shows what GP versions meet the requirements for Windows operating system for the GP client installs. And as you see here, GP 2018 must use Windows 7, 8, and 10. This slide shows what GP versions meet the requirements for Office for the GP clients. And as you see here, GP 2018 must use Office 2013 or 2016. And Office 365 is usually included in that as well. That's usually a Office 2016 version. We have found older versions of Office that will work with GP 2018 and 2016. However, then you lose some functionality that comes with those new GP versions. So when are other times to consider an upgrade? When your hardware is failing or its software is unsupported. Don't wait until the day your server fails, because then we are at a heightened risk of urgency while trying to plan and perform a successful upgrade. Things usually do not go smooth then, when everyone is rushed. When you get new hardware is a perfect time to upgrade. You may think, well, I will just move my existing GP to our new server and it will be less expensive. Well, yes, it will be slightly less expensive than an upgrade. But with a little extra effort, you can be on a new version of GP with all its great new features and functionality. And this holds true when your new server will be in the cloud as well. Also, upgrading when you have new hardware, usually your existing version of GP is an older version of GP that you're trying to put on a new version of hardware, and that doesn't always meet system requirements as well. Also, when implementing a new module, for some modules we can simply install the module as part of the upgrade. Then it is ready for you when you are ready to implement it later on. Same goes for implementing new features and ISV products that your team would like to use going forward. So I thought I would stop there and find out if there's any questions about the why and when you should upgrade. And then I'm going to proceed and talk about the Columbus upgrade process that we have in place.
It looks like we don't have any questions right now, but I'll keep an eye on the question box.
Should I give everybody a moment to type them in, or should I move on?
Sure, if you would like to wait one moment, we can see if there's any questions right now. Otherwise, we'll answer additional questions. There's a question that just popped in. Will there be a recording of this? That is one I can answer. This session is being recorded, and it'll be shared in our follow-up email after this event, along with recordings of all the other sessions today in case there was a session that you missed and you wanted to take part in.
The other thing that I'd like to add to that is the handout in the webinar. You can download that handout, and it is a PDF of my slides. So I know a lot of people are interested in all those, what works with GP 2018 and when does end of life and, the support life cycle and stuff. So you can download that handout and you'll have all that information in front of you.
Okay, that looks to be everything right now.
Okay, so I'll move on. So Columbus upgrade process. Basically, we have just 3 phases to our upgrade process. There's the discovery, the planning, and then the execution of an upgrade. And as I have stated on the slide, the discovery phase is non-billable, and the planning phase is when our time does become billable. And I'll get into what's included with each of these phases as we move through those slides. So the discovery phase is not billable and starts with an introductory meeting. We discuss what your main reason for upgrading is. We review the differences between a test upgrade and a live upgrade. And our recommendation is always to do a test upgrade because of less downtime and less risk. We discuss license conversion to perpetual, which I had talked about in a previous slide. As a follow-up, I email you with what's new features and functionality documents, along with the system's requirements that will need to be met for the GP version that you plan to go to. The discovery phase also includes what we call a discovery meeting. In that meeting is where we want to access your GP SQL server and a GP client to find out what you currently have. The information we are gathering during this meeting includes how many companies you have, their sizes, a dynamic set file that will tell us the modules and most of the ISVs you use. Some sit outside of GP and they're not part of the set file. The modified forms and reports you have, your SQL collation setup, what integrations you use, what reporting tools you use, and any customizations you may have. We make note of your current versions for SQL, the operating system, Office, GP, ISV products, and FRX or Management Reporter, whichever you are currently using. And then last of all, we discuss what your new server would look like with the upgrade. Next, we have the planning phase. This is where we plan out how we will do your upgrade. We determine the best upgrade path for your project. This is how many hops and what SQL version is needed for each hop. We check on compatibility and responsibilities of your ISV products. When you have customizations, the development team needs to provide a customization design with an estimate of their hours and costs, as well as the upgrade statement of work. We check if you are current on annual maintenance renewals, so we are able to obtain keys and software when we need them. Then we put your project plan along with the cost together into a statement of work as a deliverable to you. It contains the project scope, estimate, deliverables, project approach, assumptions, billing policy, and the change order process. Last is the execution phase, and this starts once we have a signed statement of work. We schedule an execution planning meeting. During this meeting, we define each person's roles and responsibilities throughout the upgrade. Conclude any discussions regarding SQL licensing. If you have customizations, we get on the development team's calendar. We schedule dates for the upgrade, training sessions, and meetings. Deliverables include a client pre-upgrade checklist, UAT scripts, and FRX best practices document if you are still running FRX. There are tasks we ask to be completed by you, the client, before we start the upgrade. They are acknowledged on the client pre-upgrade checklist in the FRX best practices document if you are migrating from FRX to Management Reporter. The UAT user acceptance testing document guides your users in good, thorough testing of all modules you use. This UAT does need to be altered to fit your specific processes, customizations, and ISV products that you use. Next, during the execution phase, we have a pre-upgrade meeting that happens a couple days before the actual upgrade starts and is really considered the kickoff to your upgrade. We discuss the nitty-gritty details of who, what, when, why, how. All stakeholders are required to join this meeting. And during this meeting, we check that we have a server that is ready to go and how are we connecting to those servers. I confirm client tasks have been completed. We discuss what workstations will have the new GP client installed for testing and training purposes. We wrap up any details on training agendas. And notes are taken during this meeting and are delivered to all parties involved with the upgrade. During the test upgrade, we take a backup of your current GP databases and upgrade them so you have your data to test and train on. This is normally scheduled for 2.5 days to complete. We then turn the test environment over for user acceptance testing. Training will also be scheduled to happen during this time. Functional consultants provide session summaries for any action items that should be noted. Status meetings are held to review validation, UAT issues or questions, GP client installations, out of scope items, and if they result in any change orders, risk management, budget versus actual, looking ahead items, and then the notes taken during this meeting are delivered to all meeting participants. Live upgrade happens when we have a signed milestone sign-off returned stating that you are ready to go live with your new GP version. During the live upgrade is when the users do need to stay out of GP, so there are no alterations to the database backups that were taken. We also create a test company at this time. And a test company is the perfect place to test that new module, feature, or ISV product that you planned on implementing earlier on in the project. Last of all, when we are ready to close the project and move on to the next project, we have a delivery of a project closure document. That document contains budget versus actual hours, out of scope hours, lessons learned, next step projects or tasks, and ongoing support info. So, where is GP going? I know Carol Livingston had mentioned this at the top of the Let's Learn Live event. I just wanted to note that the GP roadmap continues. They're continually updating their roadmap, letting us know what their future holds. In the GP Next for 2019, I did get a rumor from Microsoft themselves that the next version to be released is supposed to be GP 2018 R3, and it's due to release in the fall of 2019. I've also gotten some requests now that 2019 products are out, and wondering if 2019 Office, SQL, Windows Server works with GP 2018 R2. And as of right now, it does not. But Microsoft is telling us that Office 2019 will work with the GP 2018 R3 that's due to release in the fall. So along with that, my assumption would be that SQL 2019 and Windows Server 2019 will probably be on that system requirement sheet as well. Again, that's just my assumption. So that is all that I had. Does anyone have any questions regarding the upgrade process?
Okay, so we did have a couple questions come in. First question is it best to start using BI 360 reports to replace RFX reports and then upgrade GP 2015 to GP 2018?
You certainly can do that. I consider those two separate phases to a project, since the BI 360 it's not an upgrade of your FRX to management reporter, which is the Microsoft tools that they use for financials. So you could either do it as a phase 1 before the upgrade starts, or you could do it as a phase 2 after the upgrade is finished. And it's really up to you. I do like to keep those projects separate, so there's clear definition of GP being upgraded versus doing a new implementation of BI 360. Hopefully I answered that.
Okay, our next question is any guesses if the hop will change for GP 2013 when 2018 R3 comes out?
Right now, I'm not sure on what that hop is going to be. It really, the hop depends on the build. And back on one of my slides, I referred to the upgrade paths. So Microsoft tells us that we have to be at a certain build of the version. Let's say you're on GP 2015. You have to be at a certain build of that version in order for us to upgrade to GP 2018 with one hop. And if we're not at that build and we're on a lower build, then it does require an additional hop because we have to service pack the GP 2015 in order to get to the build that they will allow us to go from 2015 to 2018.
Okay, our next question is which version is that license conversion required to move to perpetual licensing?
2013, GP 2013 is when they came out with the perpetual licensing. Before that, it was called modular-based licensing or module licensing, and you had to buy the modules that you wanted to use individually. Now you get everything that's in the starter pack. Everybody is entitled to that starter pack. And then it's just, if you're using manufacturing, then you would also have to get the extended pack, or project accounting, you'd have to get the extended pack. So GP 2010 was the last version with the module licensing. 2013, GP 2013, first version for perpetual.
Okay, looks like that's all the questions that we have right now. Just keeping an eye on the question box in case anything else comes on in.
Yeah, because I did this in record time.
Yeah. Lots of great information on the GP upgrade process, and like you said, a nice amount of time. Okay. Well, before I kind of close things out, Lori, do you have any final comments?
No. I think you were going to put a poll up.
Oh, yes, I can definitely do that. So I will be putting up a poll right now. We have 3 questions we would love if you guys could answer. Let me get the first question up here. Let's let that sit for a moment. Okay, we'll do about 5 more seconds here. Okay, so I'm going to close this one out. And if my click will work. Okay, perfect. So yes, everyone did find this information helpful. I can actually just share that as well. Perfect. Okay, we'll go on to our next question.
He wasn't that impressed. Still, he still isn't upset by that thing over there. Well, you didn't give me a choice on that one. It's a huge difference. Actually, I could have grab one of those chairs. It's supposed to be a chair right there.
Oh, that's a great point. Someone just mentioned for this question that we need a maybe option if they're
Maybe.
looking to upgrade in the near future. So maybe. We will take that into account. Thank you for that comment. Okay, a couple more seconds here. I'll share the responses with everyone. Okay, it looks like we have a bit of a mixed response on that one, kind of a 50-50 with the yes and no, and then along with probably some maybes out there as well. Okay, and then we have our final question today. Okay, we'll leave about 5 more seconds here for some of these answers to come in.
Yeah, the only thing I have to do is pick up Dan and along.
Okay, I'll share that as well.
So
Looks like we're waiting on some of the thoughts about GP upgrades, just getting some information today, and then there's a few people interested in learning more about upgrades. Thank you everyone for sharing, participating in these polls. We appreciate it. And if there are no additional questions from the group, we would like to thank you all for attending today's presentation. And thank you, Lori, so much for giving us a great overview of why and when we should upgrade. And if any later questions do come up, please feel free to reach out to our team. You will be seeing a follow-up email with a link to today's recording as well as a link to the overall event evaluation if you're looking to receive some CPE credits from attending the event today. And thanks again, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you on the next Let's Learn Live Virtual Summit webinar.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.